Once again, it is on, my people. This is the Relationship Rehab. I'm your boy Brian Redden. Today we're gonna talk about a question I've been asked quite often, so I'm actually going to group this all together. So, how to pick the right one and not get hurt anymore? Because we don't want to be hurt, right? So we want to know, how do we pick that special one for us? That one that's gonna love us for the rest of our lives, sweep us off our feet, ride off into the sunset, and live happily ever after. How do we pick that one? Well, the thing is that number one, there is no 100% guarantee on finding that one, that love. There is no perfect formula that's gonna get you to the love of your life, that's gonna cherish you and love you forever. So basically what I've come up with are some guidelines to have. I know one of the things that I always tell people is that everybody should write a list of all of the things that you want your mate to be. Now, that's excluding the basics. Everybody wants somebody that's honest. Everybody wants somebody trustworthy, somebody that loves the Lord, somebody that can, take care of themselves and take care of our family and all the basic stuff, somebody that's funny and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is a given. We all know that. However, those specific details, those little things, whether you want that person to be 5'6" or you want that person to be 5'11", those are specifics that you should write down. And the reason why I say write them down is because if you write them down, it's something that you can refer back to, and it's something that over time, if you keep that list in your mind, you'll begin to look for those things and it'll be like second nature. So those things that are important to you. Now, if height is not important to you, you gotta put height down. If you don't mind a short dude, then you good. However, if height is important to you, then that's something that should be on your list, right? So those are the things that you should put down that are specific. And the reason why I say that is because if you don't, then those things that you do like that you have not written down, if that person or that significant other doesn't have those things, then you will tend to be gravitating towards those things if you see them in somebody else. So to keep yourself out of that position, out of that bad spot, if you have your list and you have your set requirements, then those are the things that will help guide you in picking that, because you'll have it in your mind and that's what you'll be attracted to. That's what you'll begin to choose, right? So it's not a thing about excluding somebody or being against this people or being that type of. It's about what you want in your own preference. It's okay to be a little selfish when it comes to things like that, because those things are important, because they are what grab your attention. They are what keep your interest. Really important. So there is no 100% guarantee. However, you can make it to where you are less likely to get hurt by someone by learning from your mistakes, first of all, that you've had in the past. So those things that you've done in your early relationships, those mistakes that you've made, if you are able to accept responsibility for the things that you've played a part in your bad relationships, you'll know what to look out for, and you can see those warning signs early on when you're in those first few stages of meeting somebody different. So that's number one, first and foremost. Learning from your past mistakes will help you in your future endeavors, right? So, number two, and I think this is really, really important, you have to be willing to risk getting hurt in order to win that grand prize that we call love, true love, right? And the thing is that nobody wants to be hurt, we get that. But however, you have to be willing to be transparent and to put your heart in somebody else's hands to care for it. You have to be willing to do that. If you hold them back, if you got up a wall around your heart to where you're not able to present it to somebody and give it to somebody that can take care of it, then you losing right in the gate. You're not gonna be truly happy. You won't be truly fulfilled because you're holding back, because you don't trust that person for whatever reasons you may have, or for whatever reasons that person may indicated that you can't trust them. Which is another reason to say you shouldn't be in a relationship in the first place if you aren't safe enough and you aren't in a position enough to where you can actually give your heart to somebody else to care for. However, the thing about that is you don't just give your heart to anybody. And I'm sure somebody in the time that I've been talking have thought that I'm not just gonna give my heart to anybody. You're right, you shouldn't. Makes perfect sense. However, you have to take calculated risk. And what I mean by that is there should be a prerequisite or qualifier that you should have, that a person should have to actually qualify just to be worthy enough to spend time with you, just to be worthy enough to be able to have you invest into that person emotionally, and with your time and with your resources, right? So if that person meets those prerequisites, then that person should be, in your eyes and according to your standards, a good person. And then you can go further into that relationship with that person and invest your time and emotions and your resources into that person, and then get to the point to where you can give your heart to that person for that person to care for. At the end of the day, you have to be able to risk it in order to gain what it is that you ultimately want. And that's just basically true love, is that true exchange of you caring for me and me caring for you the way we want to be cared for. Number 3, know when to cut your losses early. Don't invest your time, your emotions, and your resources in bad situations. And I mean talking about shit that you know that ain't gonna work. Those situations where you know, like, oh my God, this dude is not the dude for me, or this chick is so bogus, but she's so ratchet, but I like hitting it. Or this dude got some good vitamin D. I just can't let it go. All right, you can do that, but don't invest your time and your emotions and your resources into that. What you do on the side with your side chick or with your side dude, that's all well and good. That's reality. That's what people do. However, don't put that investment of your time and your emotions and your resources into that person, because you're wasting your time and it's gonna end bad for you. That I can guarantee. You are definitely gonna be in a situation to where you're gonna be unhappy, you're gonna be unfulfilled, but you may have some good P or some good vitamin D to go along with it. It is what it is. So it's like it's like going to a restaurant and having a shitty meal, but the drinks are good. It's like you defeating the purpose, and at the end of the day, you ultimately trying to eat. The drink may be good, but the meal is garbage. So it's like you have to keep that in mind. So don't put yourself and don't invest that time and emotion into something that's not gonna work out for you in the end. All right, cut your losses early, get out, and go and invest that time into getting to know somebody else. Which brings me to my next point. Invest your time, your emotions, and your resources only in worthy projects. So only with somebody that has met your prerequisites, only with somebody that has just as much to invest into this and just as much to lose in this situation as you are. We tend to chase after things and chase after people, I should say, that number one, cannot match the emotional investment we're prepared to make. They can't match the time investment that we're willing to make, and they can't, in some cases, make the resource investment that we are able to make into a relationship, which makes it unbalanced. And when it's unbalanced, it can only work for so long before that scale can't be maintained. And if there's no balance, then it's not going to work out. So it's like, let's say for instance, if you're the person who has, let's go with resources. You're the person that has money, right? So it's like, I have money. However, the person that I'm in a relationship with, they don't. Now, if they don't have money and they are not like in the process of within the next year or two having a good paying job, or if they trying to find themselves and figure out who they are, then that's going to be you assuming the financial responsibility. Is that something you want to do? Only you can answer that. So if you don't want to assume that financial responsibility for the next 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, then why even continue to invest that time and that emotion into somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? And not to say that person is a bad person, or they are not a good person or anything like that. It's just that where they are in their life right now, it is not conducive to where you at in your life right now. So, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the reality of it. And in that case, you need to find somebody who can invest with you, not necessarily the same exact amount of resources that you have, but they can at least have some resources to invest and to bring to the table. When you're talking about your time and your emotions, those two things are equally important. If you with somebody that, let's say, they working all the time, they working 18 hours a day, and they working 6 days a week, and you're the type of person where you require a lot of time, you want to go out, you want to travel, you want to date and all that kind of stuff, and they don't have the time to do that, then there's no reason for you to keep investing that time into that situation, because you're ultimately not going to get where you're trying to go. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get what you want from that person, because that person is just doesn't have the time. Or let's say they're still in a relationship with somebody else. They can't afford to emotionally invest into this other relationship. Now you can physically invest, where you can get the bodies up, we can exchange that way. I can get it on and we can get it on and it can be on. But if they don't have that emotion, if they can't invest in you emotionally in your relationship, you at some point are gonna need that. So why continue to waste that time with that? Because that time you're spending with that person investing in a bad situation, you could be spending that time getting to know somebody in a new situation. So it's like, keep in mind that the time you waste investing in bad situations are keeping you from getting to your ultimate goal, which is to be with that one person or that person that you want to be with, to actually say, hey, this is the person that I want to spend time with. This person wants to spend time with me. We can invest time together. We can invest emotions together, and we have resources that we can bring together. Now you're at the point to where you can truly become transparent with each other. You can go to that next level. You can start to see how the dynamics of the relationship are going to work. Because if you don't, and you wind up doing that, you wind up getting in that cycle of just wasting your time with different men, different women, or whatever the case may be, and you're not gonna get fulfilled, and you're just gonna look up one day and you're gonna be 45, 50 years old and be like, man, I still don't have nobody. And that's because you've been investing in the wrong type of projects. You've been investing in the wrong businesses. So it's like, make sure that you are investing in things that are worthy of your time, of your emotions, and of your resources. Cool, I hope this helps. I hope that this helps you become a better version of yourself. Once again, this is the Relationship Rehab. I am Brian Redmond, and just let your soul glow. Soul glow. Y'all know I had to mention it. Hey, I love y'all.